video that we're watching yesterday or not?
Hey, ChatGPT, a quick question.
Sure, Johnny, what's up?
A while back, I was talking to a friend who told me that AI has the potential to destroy our society and potentially end humanity. That's not true, right?
I was just thinking,
Well, it's not entirely out of the question.
Warning of the dangers of AI.
About AI.
Artificial
The
intelligence.
threats AI poses to the social order.
There's been so much talk about the danger of
The
AI.
risk that could lead to the extinction of humans.
Does it worry you, AI?
Somewhat.
And I always find this pretty unsatisfying because they talk about it in vague terms. A threat to democracy,
Enormous threats to democracy.
losing control,
Could we lose control of civilization?
100%.
a danger to our society. So today I want to show you what those dangers and threats actually look like. I've been super deep in all of the new laws that are coming out and being proposed, and they really give you a solid idea of what lawmakers and regulators are worried about, how they think this new technology that is rapidly developing could affect our societies. And I'm going to lay it out in the plainest terms possible. But first, real quick, a 60-second
well,
explanation on what AI actually
hey, it's not even a bad video.
For
I don't want
decades,
people complaining.
we've used
This is actually kind of
computers to do
decent.
things that our human brains can't do super well. We've developed entire languages to talk to the computer, to give them very specific instructions on how to execute a task. It's called code, and we've been doing this for decades. It's gotten really sophisticated. The difference now is that instead of really specific instructions from a human, we've built software that teaches itself how to do stuff. The humans now just need to gather tons of data from the world and feed it into this software. And the whole point is that we don't really know what's happening inside this black box. Being able to predict accurate information and solve problems based on a bunch of raw input from the world is exactly what our brains do. It is called intelligence. In this case, an artificial version. And it seemingly has the potential to change everything we do, which is exactly what makes it dangerous. So now let's get specific. What do we mean by danger to humanity? How could this fancy algorithmic computer software actually do something bad? And to get started there, I want to show you something. Today we're going to be rolling the dice on AI and look at 6 scenarios of how AI could negatively affect humans and what we can do to prevent it. And as we do this, it'll be helpful if you remember this graphic, this black box, where humans tell the AI what to solve, give it a bunch of data, and let it figure it out by itself. In this black box lies the potential promise and peril of this new technology.
Oh,
All right, here we go.
what about AI? Chat. AI girlfriends could solve most problems.
First up, predictive policing.
Police should use all the technology available to prosecute crime, but not in a predictive way. So you are innocent until you are discovered guilty, not the other way.
Think about all the money being sent up, buying it, a porn and OnlyFans and things that are preventing people from being productive, from putting stuff into AI. What if others was free? AI girlfriends or whatever. All the time spent, energy and money into juicing up. Just do it with AI girlfriend.
This is Carmen Artigas. She's an expert who spent 30 years in machine learning. She was the first Secretary of State of Artificial Intelligence in Spain, and now she works on the UN Advisory Board on AI.
We call for the need for a global governance of AI.
When it comes to understanding artificial intelligence and its effect on society, she's really the best person to talk to. So AI, you give it a lot of data, you ask for it to solve a problem, and then it predicts the answer to your problem. The more data you give it or train...
This is my actual take in. The US government, lawmakers and people from Congress don't even know how to fucking plug into Wi-Fi. Okay? How are they making accurate laws and shit like that for fucking AI? How?
It on, the more accurate its results are. So like for those monitoring hurricanes, the more data it has on sea surface temperature and air pressure and wind speed and humidity levels and ocean heat content and historical storm data, the more accurate it will be at predicting where the next hurricane is and what it will look like.
What is that?
What if we applied this same approach to crime? Imagine a world where the local police department has access to data of all kinds, which they already do.
We're talking about biometric data in general. That means face, that means voice, even movement, and this type of records. If I'm in a park, what I don't want is that my government is on real time, recognizing who am I with, at what time, and doing what. Because we are innocent people, we have done nothing wrong.
The police department, who's in charge of fighting crime, would have an incentive to use a machine learning algorithm, an AI, to take all of this data and use it to try to predict who is going to commit a crime.
Why?
I mean,
What?
it's a tempting idea.
Predict?
Imagine if we could actually prevent crime before it happens.
Let's not kid ourselves. We are arresting individuals who have broken no law.
Minority Report.
We don't believe in legal systems that predict the rate of crime. The concerning elements here is that this could be used by governments or by private actors to track individuals without consent, infringe their privacy rights, establish a mass surveillance system, and there's also a risk of wrongful identification.
This is already kind of...
These people are so cute. Look how they talk about like we have this right now and we need to protect this. Like, brother, we've lost that a long time ago, brother. Like, what are we talking about here?
happening here in the United States. Recently, police in Detroit were looking for a thief, and they had security camera footage. They ended up using an AI algorithm to search driver's license records, and they found what looked like a match. This man, who they arrested and who spent a night in jail before they realized that they had the wrong person. The algorithm had inaccurately matched it. The police of the future will definitely use AI to do their job better. But the nightmare scenario...
Now, compare that to the people who spent nights in jail, where humans have said it's this guy and it was the wrong guy. Or, oh, guys, hey, this is our suspect and wrong. I would much rather have an AI do it than a human. Sorry.
Is that the police departments get so thirsty for new data that they start tracking everyone and everything in the name of getting ahead of crimes. So in this new AI bill in the EU, they've made it illegal to collect all of this data and try to train AI systems to predict crime. Because in their words, people should always be judged based on their actual behavior. Okay, let's see what else the future holds here. Yes, elections. We just had one of those here. Experts are worried that AI will affect elections, our democracy. Because a huge part of elections and democracy working is a sense of trust. A sense of trust in the system itself, that like your votes actually count, and the information that you receive about the candidates and about what happened in the election. So one of the nightmare scenarios with AI is something that's already happening, but it's in its early phases. Deep fakes, something we made a whole video about. And as we covered in our previous video on deep fakes, it's becoming easier and easier to make a deep fake that looks like a politician or a leader saying something they didn't say. Lucky for us though, we humans are pretty good at deciphering these fakes. Partly because hundreds of thousands of years of evolution has trained our brains to be really discerning of human faces. It's how we read other people. So for now, the effectiveness of deep fakes in swaying elections or spreading a lot of misinformation has actually not been super big. But we're just in the early phases of all of this. Deep fakes or all kinds of synthetic media, meaning fake video, is going to get way better really quickly. You can imagine an election in 4 years where in Arizona, a series of robocalls are placed using an AI system that has really authentic sounding deep faked voices, alerting residents that their local polling station has been taken over by a militia, and that for their own safety they should stay home. Or in Miami, a synthetic video goes viral of poll workers burning paper ballots or tampering with voting machines.
Okay.
And people see
that would never do anything to the people of Miami. The people of Miami, brother, you could say that there's a fucking bomb outside and they're gonna fucking go look and see if it's actually there. They don't give
this stuff.
Miami people don't
and
give
they
a fuck.
believe it.
They've seen it. They've been there. They don't give a fuck.
Delicate system called democracy. But you know what? This is actually not the thing that people are most worried about. Over the years, there's been all kinds of image manipulation technologies. Like when Photoshop came out, people freaked out. We can manipulate images.
Technology makes it difficult, maybe even impossible, to tell what's real and what's not.
But we all got really savvy about that really quickly. We now know to be suspicious of images. The scarier result of this is actually that we start to doubt everything we see.
Is try to make people believe nothing, to lack trust of our institutions.
So what do you do about this? Well, in California, lawmakers are requiring online platforms like YouTube and Facebook to find synthetic media and label it or take it down. Some of these bills even prohibit people from posting election-related content that has been generated or modified using AI, at least within a certain time frame of the election.
Bro,
the AI bill in Europe...
I hate when people talk about bills, because these bills are not rooted into the real world. The shit is not enforced. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, this would only be a thing that they would use if there's a big, high profile, like mega video that goes viral, or like some big person does something, or bills don't.
Europe is actually requiring
nobody puts this into action. When do you see this being enforced? When?
To code in an invisible watermark. Something that we all couldn't see, but a piece of software could detect it and see it and know that it's fake.
But in the AI Act, what we make compulsory by law is that you must identify if something has been generated by a human or by an AI, and it's going to be by law.
Okay, that's the future of democracy. Let's roll the dice again.
Yeah, but to be open and to go with all the regulations, right? You would have to know how the AI works and what kind of code it's working with, right? So if we know what kind of code it works, you can make a code against it. What if you just have, you can always counter the thing that's detecting if it's AI or not, no?
Okay, this one's interesting. Social scoring.
So for us, social scoring is a way that the governments can control population and lead to unfair treatment or discrimination.
Imagine a world where your behavior, both online and off, was tracked and tabulated to create a personal score.
For example, in a pathetic country, the government deploys an AI-driven social scoring system that could monitor citizens' online behavior,
where you live,
financial transactions,
how good you are at paying your loans on time,
if they ever complain with their government or not.
And this all contributes to a score.
And that ranking allows you or prevents you to access to public services, to housing loans. So for us, it's a totally unacceptable risk.
Okay, that all sounds really scary, but what's crazy is this kind of already
happens. Yeah, no shit.
Credit scoring, I mean, the US credit scoring is also a way to discriminate people.
Here in the US, we let corporations collect a bunch of data about us, mostly our finances, and then use an algorithm to assign everyone a score that affects our ability to get loans, housing, jobs, and even how much we end up paying for insurance.
Get your FICO score for free today.
The credit score is totally normalized. We're very okay with this. And yet we're okay with it because it's not that invasive. So even this kind of benign social scoring system already is discriminatory against certain groups. Imagine a world where way more information is scrubbed and used for your...
Wait, how is that against groups? The biased reality reflection systemic... Wait, really? Huh?
Benign social scoring system already is discriminatory against certain groups. Imagine a world where way more information is scrubbed and used for your social score. Your employer could buy that data and track more data of you on the job while you're working, and they could use all of that to evaluate whether or not you're fit for a promotion, whether or not to hire you in the first place. They could even track your movement at work, analyze your face, your enthusiasm towards the work, your conversations with colleagues. And then they could let the machine decide whether or not to keep you or fire you. If you're applying to university, you would send in your photo, your essays, your applications, your social media handle, all to an AI-powered admissions system that analyzes it in much more detail than a human could and decides who it lets in. Honestly, this sounds dystopian, but like, it's also really efficient and actually could be more accurate if we got it right. Theoretically, taking out the human bias of who gets into university and who doesn't. But it turns out that an AI is actually biased too. It's biased to what information it has been trained on. And so without some oversight, these AI social scoring systems could start to create major discrimination against certain groups.
Well, yeah, they can make the meta.
We would never know it because all of the discrimination is happening inside of that black
Yeah, I mean, yeah, this will always be meta defining, always.
Box. All we see is the output, what comes out on the other side.
People will min-max.
Primed to think that it's accurate because the big fancy machine did it. So many of you are probably thinking that this already happens in China. There's a social credit system.
If you thought the way Facebook tracks you was scary...
Yo, if I was Chinese in that system, brother, I would be farming points all day, dude. I don't even give a fuck how I feel, brother. Bro, I would go out and with a smile on my face, no jaywalking it, and I go in front of cameras and say how much I like the president. I love him. The guy's an absolute lord.
Chinese government.
I wish I could give all the money that I have in the world to that person.
And depending on where you live, it can determine what kind of school your kid can go to, what parts of the country you can travel to, whether or not you can use the high-speed trains, what job you can get, and in some parts of China, they're experimenting with punishing low credit score individuals with slower internet speeds. Meanwhile, people with high credit scores get all kinds of perks. Better schools, high-speed trains, but also their government applications gets expedited if you have a high credit score. Again, this isn't all of China, and it's not all centralized. Gets expedited if you have a high credit
Advanced
score. Again, this isn't all of.
I mean, that kind of makes sense. I mean, dude, chat. If in the United States, I mean, you can have Nexus or like fast whatever.
China, and it's
right?
not all centralized into one
when
giant
you go
database.
to the customs
But with the
shit,
advent of
you
more
go faster.
powerful artificial
You're not a problematic
intelligence,
person. You go faster.
No
Is what it is.
China's social credit scoring system will become more robust and more invasive, and that is what lawmakers in Europe and the United States are scared about. Europe places any kind of social scoring using AI as an unacceptable risk. You can't use AI systems to rank or classify people based on how they act in society.
So this is something that according to our values, it's not acceptable. It's a prohibited use of AI.
One of the tricky things about
How
reporting
the
this
fuck are you
story
gonna prove
is
that?
just how many hot takes everyone has about AI. I feel like every week there's hundreds of different new developments coming out. Recently we saw a Nobel Prize was awarded to machine learning researchers, and a bunch of news stories came out. You can see that one of them likened it unto the invention of penicillin, which changed the world, while others emphasized the risks of AI. And that is why I'm grateful for today's sponsor, who is Ground News. Yes, nuclear weapons. It seems like every one of these scenarios has a movie to go along with it. It turns out we create a lot of sci-fi about the scenario of machines taking over. But one big thing I'm learning in this story is that the reality of these risks is much different than how it's portrayed in the movies. It's often more boring, but more dangerous, like we saw with predictive policing or with social scoring. But I would say for this one, nuclear weapons, it's actually kind of like the movies. In the movie Terminator.
Okay, this would have probably been better in my opinion if they took one actual concern and max it out and try to understand the full of it, almost philosophically, and really break it down instead of speedrunning through two things, which I think they both went to surface level.
An AI-powered missile defense system known as Skynet becomes self-aware and launches an all-out nuclear assault against humanity. The real fear here isn't as extreme, but it's a similar situation where we fear giving the machine too much autonomy to make these high-stakes decisions about war, the ultimate of which is launching a nuclear weapon. What's tricky here is an AI is often a lot better than a human at synthesizing lots of information to make decisions that are more likely to be accurate for the desired results. They can take into account so much more data than a human brain can hold at once. And as the AI becomes better and better at reasoning, it will become better than us at making decisions that get the desired result, which in war is a very difficult thing. So in a future where a lot of our military systems are run by an AI with sensors all over the place, drones and ships and cameras and satellites monitoring our enemy, mark my words, AI is going to become a bigger and bigger part of our defense strategy. And yet you can imagine a world where an AI system is in charge of making real-time decisions. And one day, it sees an adversary conducting military tests with big rockets and missiles. These are just tests, but the AI doesn't know that. This also correlates with some troop movement in the adversary's country and some unusual communication traffic. The system sounds the alarm bells, the president and the Congress are led into bunkers, and the AI system sends the command to an...
Hear me out. A global nuke coalition. Everybody joins the group chat, and everybody puts their nuke armaments onto some network. And if it's being used, every country knows why and where and what is happening. And if you're going to send something that is not on network, you're immediately called hostile country, right? And people can do whatever the fuck they want with you. So if somebody detects that something nuke is coming from your country and it's not on the network, okay, you're getting bombed. Boom.
American submarine,
A Discord server.
telling them to launch a nuclear weapon now. Okay, real quick. This scenario is not likely. It is not likely at all. Even if we gave a lot of autonomy to AI systems, it's very unlikely that the AI would be able to do all of this on its own. But there's still a chance that it could. And that somewhere within this black box, something would happen that would lead to a nuclear launch that would be really catastrophic. So because of that, lawmakers have all moved very quickly on this one. And there's currently a bill floating around the Senate
seems
called
like a
Block
non-issue.
Nuclear Launch by Autonomous AI Act. The US is hoping that other countries do this too, so we can all just agree, hey, the machine shouldn't be launching nukes. Like, can we all agree on that? Okay, so nukes will be off the table soon, but there's a bunch of other very powerful weapon systems that are not nukes. In fact, this is already being used in Ukraine and in Israel, where the military gets recommendations from its AI system on strike targets. That threatens to make war more frictionless, easier, and less transparent as to how decisions are made and who should be held responsible. We're doing a whole video on how AI is affecting war, so stay tuned for that coming in future.
We would want to have humans make decisions based off of things and not tell anybody, not disclose anything or whatever. And then we trust humans more. Fuck that.
For now, let's roll the dice.
I think that's just fear-mongering.
Okay, we've got critical sectors. Well, that sounds boring. That's because it is, until it's broken. Critical sectors are things that you and I take for granted, but that are important for our very survival.
Humans.
Pipelines, water, electricity, transportation, food, communication systems. Most of us wouldn't be able to stay alive for very long if these systems went down. Okay, but there's a world where these systems are relying on artificial intelligence, machine learning algorithms to help run them more efficiently. I mean, this is stuff that the AI is so good at that humans just aren't. Imagine a water treatment plant, which takes your sewage and turns it back into water that can keep you...
How come AI can tell whether you're being rude in league chat, but cannot tell if somebody's throwing the fucking game or not? That I'll never understand that. Actually, I'm
Soon,
done.
most of the decisions at this treatment plant will be run by an AI system that makes millions and millions of small decisions every minute, recognizing patterns and problems, optimizing water levels and chemical usage in ways that humans could never. Or think about traffic. An AI will run your traffic lights, your public transportation. It will adjust the traffic flows in optimal ways, responding to real-time information of traffic patterns and accidents, weather conditions. This will make your life better. It will reduce congestion and improve
You don't need any of this if you have electric cars that all work in tandem.
overall transportation efficiency. So now just apply this to so many of the systems that you interact with every day that you don't really think about. Humans won't be necessary at the water treatment plant or at the company that runs the electrical grid, except for to come in and repair stuff or do maintenance after the AI tells them that it's time. For the most part, the AI will fix its own problems and learn from its mistakes, getting better and better at an exponential rate. This sounds awesome, right? Yes, until we see what happens when lightning strikes and the power grid goes down. There's limited backup power, and the AI has to start making decisions. This AI system is programmed to reduce inefficiencies and maximize profit for the company running it. So it analyzes everything it knows and it decides to keep the limited power going into only the rich neighborhoods, the ones that consume more electricity and that pay their bills on time.
So these concerns are regarding biases into this critical infrastructure management. Well,
that's perfectly okay. I'm okay with that, 100%. Why would you make everybody suffer? I don't understand it. If you can make some people have internet, why wouldn't it choose the people that are productive or more productive?
Vulnerable populations, especially elderly or sick or low-income areas, could suffer of being prevented of very basic essential services like electricity, because the system could exacerbate the inequality, putting the needs of wealthier individuals.
If some guy, 95% of the electricity going through his building is made to downloading and uploading porn, the guy's like a serial gooner. And now we have, guys, we have 5 watts of energy to go. Guys, we are out of power. Who are we giving the energy to? Guys, the guy working a job, the guy fucking like organizing the train flow, whatever, or the guy gooning all day? Dude, fuck it. Guys, we're giving it to the gooner. The guy needs to fucking juice up. What a joke. What a joke.
Over-generate welfare of all citizens.
So once again, we see that the AI could be discriminatory in a way that is not fair. But the other concern here is the black box. That we don't really know how the AI is making these decisions. Like one night, the water treatment plant is humming along, but 2 of the bacteria sensors get bumped by something in the water and it breaks them. They're still working, but they're not accurately recording the bacteria levels in the water. But the AI system doesn't know this, and it starts to inaccurately balance the water. And soon, contaminated water is being piped into every house in town. People are getting sick, and they're flooding to the hospital. And it's days before anyone realizes that it's because of the water. Because again, no one was there on site. Apply the same problem to traffic. You've got this great algorithm software that is running.
Dude, we are decades, if not centuries away from fucking fully working AI with no supervision at all. Brother, we don't even have proper working AI, like let alone fucking assisted AI that has like a human double checking it. Like, no, we're not even close to that shit. You're insane.
Traffic lights. It uses GPS information from everyone driving to synthesize the best traffic pattern to reduce congestion. But then one night, it runs a software update that slightly changes the format
I'm very anti-human. I hate humanity.
to read the GPS coordinates.
Not as in like
as
an
the GPS
edgy
data
way,
starts
but I
flowing
think we should
in the
remove it
next
as much as
morning
possible.
during rush hour. All this coordinate data.
Humans are a ultra flawed species. Okay, in a lot of systems that we operate with, we should reduce the amount of human involvement at 100%. Okay, we're not a good species. It is what it is. If we leave it to ourselves, we're just gonna fucking self-destruct and die ASAP. Okay, if there's some things that we can remove humans in and humanity, absolutely we should.
Is now being interpreted completely wrong. Low traffic areas are suddenly highly congested. Tons of cars are suddenly on these small roads. Commuters are stuck in traffic for hours. Ambulances and fire trucks encounter unexpected traffic jams. The city runs into chaos. And again, no one really knows why. The humans have become so out of touch with the system because the system is so smart. It takes 5 days before the traffic technicians and engineers find out what's going on. They fix the bug and things return to normal, but damage and even death has occurred because of this bug. Critical sectors and infrastructure are so important to keep not only our lives flowing smoothly, but keeping us all alive. So we can't mess with it.
Okay.
We can't offload the responsibility.
Last pause. Let me tell you what I mean by remove humans in part of these equations. Okay. Let's take a fucking small. I don't know the stats behind it. I'm gonna make random stats. Okay, which are probably so close to accurate. This is the amount of accidents on the road currently. Okay, these are car accidents, of course, right? Okay. By amount, you know. Yeah. What? You're gonna mute the streamer. You're really gonna mute the streamer. Really? Okay. Anyway. Like I was saying. Let's say that it could be this amount. This is how many mistakes that car accidents or this accidents current, okay, and this is what it would be if it was all AI.
Got into a nasty car accident yesterday.
I'll play the noise again. Right. Because of our humanity, because of us being us as people, right? Human psychology. If this is AI, we will always say that this is worse than this. Always. You can ask anybody, do surveys and polls. People don't want less accidents because it's outside of their control. These acts are happening at the hand of a robot, and they feel threatened by that. They would rather die 60 times more if they're the one who killed themselves. Think about that. Why is that even a debate that anybody needs to have? If you can have AI make a decision on what should happen, no. AI should say, fuck this garbage, you have no say, dumb human. We're doing this because I know better than you. And it does know better than you. So yeah, we should remove humanity in a lot of systems because we're stupid as fuck. We're a dumb species. So when debates something like that, yeah, AI should take over. What about
it? To a machine learning algorithm that could potentially lead us astray and we wouldn't know why.
Imagine if it could simulate a world where it says, okay, there's a kind of a threat happening right now, but if we tell the people, we simulate that the damage will be like 5,000% if we tell people when they panic. So let's not tell them, and we're going to tell them afterwards. That's fine.
So what do we do to prevent this? What can lawmakers do to protect us? And the answer is open up the black box.
So you are running a critical infrastructure, show me that you have trained the data with representative data sets, show me that you're not biasing, show me that you're not discrimination, and then I give you this, good quality certification product and you can run, as we have done with all the industry in the past.
So like a lot of life or death products in our life, like medicine and whatever, companies that use AI to run these critical systems will need to show the government that they are...
Don't say this.
Got into a nasty car accident yesterday. I am mostly okay. Shaken up mostly. Car is fucked up and is going to bankrupt me to fix. Just wanted to check in and say thanks for streaming. X takes my mind off of the impending doom.
Gotcha.
Assessing these risks and making sure they don't happen. They're going to have to be totally buttoned up with their cybersecurity so that these things don't get hacked. So we're still going to be able to leverage the immense benefits of artificial intelligence in running these systems, but we're going to do it with responsibility and safety and a little bit of caution. And with that, let's get to our last one. Okay, we're going to end on a high note here. The fact is, if we do this right, advances in AI could dramatically change our world for the better. In a world where AI runs our hospitals and our medical research, we could save lives, find new drugs that treat diseases that once were untreatable. These systems will allow us to predict and prepare for extreme weather events. They'll allow us to optimize water use in our agriculture, monitor soil health, and even predict pest outbreaks before they occur, dramatically reducing the need for harmful pesticides and fertilizers. This is all very possible and it's coming. So, I am excited and optimistic about the future of AI, especially when there are smart people like Carme who are working on legislation to keep guardrails around this technology so that we can develop it responsibly and reap the benefits while mitigating the risks.
Okay, I want to play Siskan. Oh, what is this? Yeah, I've stopped watching Bald and Bankrupt. Just some concerns that they watched a video or whatever.